Hi, my name is Medina, and I'm really excited to share with you an interview I did with the amazing Simon Ra. And I am an energy healer, and I do sessions with people online, and I love to interview you. So if you have something important you'd like to share with the world, please contact me. And I'm really excited to share this interview because I think Simon Ra has some amazing wisdom, and people can really benefit from hearing his message. So please enjoy this interview, and thank you so much for watching. So I'd love to welcome today the amazing Simon Ra, and I feel very honored to have you on this interview today because I've been following you for a while on Facebook, and you have some incredibly insightful and posts that are really connected to the divine energy and the flow of what's happening on the planet at the minute. And they've been very helpful for me too because they've come up at exactly the times where I've needed to read them, and they've really resonated because, of course, these days there's so much information out there. We need to be able to run everything through our own filter and see if it resonates. And your posts really resonate, and I feel like you have a wonderful connection to the divine and to the higher realms, and you bring through a lot of light and a lot of wisdom, and I'm feeling really thrilled to have you here today. And I'm going to underneath the interview have your links to your Facebook page and your YouTube. So super big welcome, Simon Ra, and really honouring of your presence today. So thank you.
Thank you so and I'd like to start by sending the deepest gratitude and my love to all of your community and all of the communities of light who are tuning into these messages. And I'd like to set the intention for this call that may the highest and purest information that is in vibration of the upliftment of humanity flow through this conversation for everybody who needs to listen to these messages for the highest good of all.
Perfect. I love that. Thank you. It's hard to know where to start. There's so much information that we could talk about. Your wife, Eldora, she also has some amazing posts and insights. So I want to also honor her today and say thank you for everything that she does. Maybe we could do an interview with her too soon.
Yeah, for sure.
Lovely. So I would like to start by saying there was a post that you posted a few days ago, and it really resonated with me. You're talking about the intensity of the energy in December the 21st. Now, the 21st was an interesting date because it was the date my daughter chose to get married. So we had this amazing big wedding, and there was love everywhere. It was all talking about, all the speeches were about love and love, 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 and there was this real beautiful energy of love that I think went out into the universe and resonated on such a profound note. And so that was really special for me. And you were talking about this incredible energy on that day as well. So please share with me your experience of the 21st.
Yes, absolutely. So as we all know, December 21st is the date of the winter solstice every year. And this December 21st, 2019 was especially powerful because it is the completion of a 7-year cycle that we opened on December 21st, 2012. So we just completed a 7-year cycle. Also, 2019 is very powerful because it's the start of a galactic new year, and galactic years go in spans of 13 years at a time. So, and on top of that, we're starting a new decade, moving into 2020. So there's a lot of new beginnings and endings at the same time. So all of these culminate into a very powerful energy. And for myself and many light workers whom I have had an honor to share experiences with, who are walking the spiritual path and working on themselves, I call them the first wavers or the way showers. These are the people who began their ascension journey in 2012, thereabouts. And these people are the ones who heard the call for for rising into the roles of leadership, of rising into the roles of speaking up, and really differentiating themselves from the crowd and stepping up and claiming responsibility for their own lives, cleaning up our own lives, letting go of all that's out of alignment with our lives, and really hearing the soul's call to move into a position of leadership, so we can start by sorting out our own lives, to move into our divinity and claim our power, and heal our inner wounds and traumas. And then by healing ourselves, we're healing the collective. So December 21st, 2019 marks a closing of a chapter for many of the first wavers, these way showers who've been putting in the work. And this 7-year period was especially challenging for a lot of us. A lot of us, like we were just discussing, had to let go of family, had to move apart from friendships, had to move away from old careers, even makeup. And but this is
Sorry, we missed.
although in the moment it seems like we're letting go of.
Oh, we missed
Yeah.
that last thing. You said an important word there, starting with M, and it cut out.
Oh, marriages. Like
Oh,
a lot of marriages also split apart as a result of the realignment of energies. So although this may seem like we're making huge sacrifices in our personal lives, but really this is all for the greatest good. And we're now ready. The first wavers are now ready to step into a higher role as we enter 2020. So December 21st specifically, we started aligning as a planet. Our planet aligned with the galactic center. And if you look into the astrology, you'll figure out the details. I'm not an astrologer by any means, but I do tune into various channels. And my understanding is that the Earth's poles are now fully aligned in a straight line with the galactic center to begin to be able to receive these ascension energies to a higher degree than ever before. And previously, it's been a rocky ride where we feel all these ascension symptoms in our bodies, and we're moving from being carbon-based beings into crystalline beings. And it's been a rocky road physically. A lot of people felt their health deteriorate, and a lot of people just like fatigue. A lot of people felt loss of sleep. Our diets are changing. Our health is changing, and some of us who were in resistance also developed some sort of disease. So when we work through all these physical changes in 2020 and moving into the next 7-year cycle, we've really formed the foundation. You could say the groundwork has been laid for a crystalline body in these last 7 years. So that we have the groundwork to build upon. Now the next layer of upgrades will be that much easier for our bodies to assimilate, because now we're getting the hang of it. We know that our bodies are not going to be accepting of the old ways of being. We know that that not exercising is not an option anymore. We know that we must drink enough water to hydrate ourselves, and we must move to more of a natural earth-based, plant-based diet. So a lot of us have been putting in the work. We've also been clearing our emotions. We've been clearing our traumas, and now we're prepped and ready to start receiving the actual spiritual gifts and abilities, and to really take the magic to the next level. So it's going to be a very exciting next 7 years, and I'm really looking forward to what's to come.
Fantastic. I noticed on Christmas Day the energy was incredibly, again, intense, powerful. I was exhausted. Just was integrating all these high vibrational energies. And I also found with everything after that 21st, that there was a lot of stuff that came up to the deepest layers, the deepest levels of wounding or unhealed aspects coming up to be transmuted that I thought that I'd already cleared and worked on ages ago. So it's interesting, you get these
Absolutely.
different layers that come up that you don't anticipate, and you just have to go with it and allow yourself to feel it, allow yourself for it to come up so that it can be transmuted. So that was a fantastic summary of what's ahead, and it's all extremely positive. And I think really important to hold on to that incredible sense of hope and anticipation and excitement for what's ahead. You know, I was listening to a wonderful spiritual speaker the other day, and they were saying that in 1 year's time, we won't recognize where we are now because it will be so different energetically. And it'll be such an accelerated path that we won't even be able to remember what it was like a year prior. So that's very interesting and exciting. It is so accelerated.
Yes, absolutely. And one of my roles also in this ascension process is that of a timekeeper. I see myself as a seer, and I've had many premonitions. I feel that the resonance in my DNA, that I sometimes see visions of the future so clearly as if it's already happened. So in a way, when I tune into this energy, I feel it's an aspect of my higher self that's already seen certain timelines, and certain people like myself and many other light workers who have the coding within our DNA of future timelines that need to be merged with the present timeline of Earth. So that's one of my roles, and one of the roles of many of my colleagues who are working on this ascension process. So although from a 3D perspective, it looks like there's a lot of upheaval, there's a lot of doom and gloom. But when you look at it from a future perspective, from a 5D holistic perspective, you can see that the ascension has already occurred. And we see that, we know that, and we know that it's already occurred, but we still need to clear the path on the physical plane for all these changes to manifest physically. So that's an interesting way of seeing things, and I just wanted to remind people not to focus on the news, not to focus on the doom and gloom scenarios. Yes, we all know that there's a lot of evil in the world, but look at that as a positive change. It's like the destruction that occurs before spring. The death has to occur for nature to recycle itself into a new cycle, and it happens all the time in the cycles of nature. And this is just another bigger cycle of nature that we're experiencing as a mass consciousness. So don't look at it as like, oh my God, what's going to happen? It's all positive, because on a higher scale, the ascension has already taken place, and we're just watching it unfold now. So just enjoy the ride.
Yeah, the physical realm that we're in is the most dense realm, and it's the very last realm for us to see the actual changes occurring. So it's already happened on all the other levels, and it's just us. We get it at this physical dense level in the last sort of wave, don't we? So if you're sort of in the matrix or in the 3D matrix, and you're viewing the world from that perspective, it's not going to perhaps look as positive, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. And it is of utmost importance, especially for light workers, because the main reason we came here is to hold and anchor the light. So we need to remind ourselves that our main purpose is to spread more positivity, joy, and upliftment to everyone around us. Absolutely. And that's not to say that just pretend that everything's okay when it's not. It's really to say what you focus on grows. So Earth is a place of neutrality. Earth is neither positive nor negative. It's the inhabitants of Earth that add the flavor of positive or of negative to the events of Earth. So as humanity, we have to remember how powerful we are. Most of us feel so isolated in our humanness, in our little meager bodies that survive for 100 years. We think, what difference can I make? But if you really realize how powerful we are individually, and when you add that collective power, it becomes exponential on a collective level. So if all of the light workers of the world were to unite and become single-minded about the ascension and just focus on creating love, creating harmony, creating peace and balance on this planet, the ascension would happen within a matter of months or years.
So
So
true.
that's how much power we carry.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
tend to get in our own way with our doubts and fears.
We do.
So just a reminder for all of us to focus on love and focus on all the good things that are coming to us. And the manifestation, especially energy, is just going to amplify. We're surrounded by such powerful manifestation energies right now that whatever we are thinking of, whatever we are visualizing, it's literally happening in front of us. It's like we're literally creating the movie that we're directing. And I have a great example of that. We just, as I mentioned, we were in Mexico, and my wife and I, after a long trip, after a long flight plane, we just ended up in the lobby of the hotel room. And my wife was just thinking, a thought occurred to her, wouldn't it be perfect if we could get 2 beers served to us in this moment? And lo and behold, the server anonymously comes and hands us 2 beers and moves. He didn't say a word. And we looked around, and it's not like everybody else was being served beer. It was just the 2 of us holding 2 beers, and she was dumbfounded. And I have 100 other examples like that, as I'm sure you do as well. At one of our main roles on Earth is to harness this power of creation for creation of new Earth, for creation of the good that we want to see in the world.
Yes.
And we're not here to fight the bad guys. We're not here to fight evil or drive somebody off this planet. We're simply here to hold the vibration of love, because love is such a powerful frequency, such a powerful vibration, that simply by focusing on that, everything that is the illusion, which is not based on love, is simply going to be on its way out and disappear. We don't have to fight. Fight energy only brings more of that. So we simply need to focus more and more on the love. That's basically it.
Yeah, I've got that message very clearly, that next year, one of my purposes is to just be in as high a frequency as possible. So do whatever I can to raise my consciousness and my frequency to the highest level and hold that energy. And, doing things that bring joy. I have a painting behind me that I love painting. It really raises my frequency. Writing, singing, writing music, all those sorts of things. Creation often brings great joy.
Beautiful.
So all those sorts of things are really important. And I wanted to add to what you were saying earlier. When I was at the wedding, and the energy was of such a high vibration of love, and all the speeches about love and everything, I tuned in and I asked, how many people energetically did this wedding impact on the day? And I got that it impacted at least 35,000 souls because of the energy, that love vibration. That's what I picked up. So I thought, wow, if we can all just focus on that, and that energy, that frequency. And I guess the thing is, there is a lot of negative stuff that we're clearing and that we see in the world. So it's just being able to observe that without attachment, and just allow it to wash over you, and just sending people and situations love and healing and things that come up around us as well, just to help transmute those energies. I find that the ultraviolet purple flame is a great tool to transmute lower vibrational energies, for example. That's a really good one. So I totally resonate with everything that you're saying there. And I guess the thing is, not get caught up in the stuff that's coming up, because there's still going to be so many layers of heavy things that we see that have to come to the surface and be visible before we can transmute them on the planet, and don't allow those things to really rock you on an inner level, but try and maintain that even keel and that inner foundation. And so to have practices in place to do that as well, like meditation, being in nature, all those sorts of things. And I'd love to ask you, Simon Ra, about your name. You were telling me the story about how you received your name, and it was really beautiful. So please share with everyone. I'd love to hear it again.
Absolutely. So I used to hold shamanic circles until last year. And these were healing groups where we gather about 10 or 12 people with the intention of healing our traumas. And I'm a energy healer as well. So I worked one-on-one with people. I work with groups. And in these shamanic circles, we do certain practices where we create medicine circles. And we call in the energies of the directions. We call in certain rituals and chants to really make the force field around us very potent in terms of the healing energy. So we surround ourselves with archangels and ascended masters, and a lot of channelings and downloads coming for myself and for everybody else who's involved in those healing circles. And in one such healing circle last December, exactly on New Year's Eve, it was December 27, 2018. And after the circle was complete, everybody, they usually sleep the night at our place after the circle's over, because it's like it goes into 3, 4 a.m. sometimes. And I was just exhausted after a long day of work, and I was just lying down about to go to sleep. And suddenly Lord Sananda, Jesus Christ, came into my vision. And it's very common for me to have a very direct contact with ascended masters and angels, especially during these ceremonies. And in this particular instance, he simply dropped by to tell me that you are Simonra. And I said, and I was like shocked. I was like, what? I wasn't expecting a name. And he said, yes, you are Simonra. And I said, okay, I'll look into that. Let that sink in. And I researched what Simonra, what reference that carries or what it means. And I wasn't given anything. And then I asked Lord Sananda the next day, what is the meaning of this name? And he said, it's way shower. And another friend of mine whom I connected with, I told them, they were the first person I told my name to, and they said, it's Simon Peter. The reference from Jesus Christ was of Simon Peter the Apostle. And he said that one of my past incarnations was as Simon Peter the Apostle. So after that dawned on me, like, holy, like I had a moment there. And it was such an honor for me to accept that name. And it actually, the name itself was an energetic activation for myself. And it really changed me at a deep soul level. Like, it showed me an aspect of who I was in a past life, and only to reactivate who I can be. So one of the things you yourself mentioned, you received your spirit name, which is amazing. And one of the things I often share with people is how powerful can your spirit name be. So one is your birth name, and that definitely ties you to a certain identity. And it's also very important. Your birth name is very important and very valid. I'm not saying we should ditch our birth name by any means. But also, I invite everyone to set the intention to receive from their guides, from their higher self, what their names might be. And anytime you set the guidance and intention to receive such a name, at the right time, it will be revealed to you, either through yourself or through someone else or through a sign. And these names have the potential to activate very powerful spiritual energies for us. So use that as a gift as an activation.
I can share that my name, when I received it, created an incredible shift. I'm very sensitive to sound and energy. I'm a singer, and so sound is really powerful. And you know, when you hear your name spoken all the time, because people say it all the time, it has an enormous influence. And the energy of the name, the frequency of the name, the feel of the name, all that makes such an enormous difference to your own energy. That it did create incredible acceleration in my spiritual journey when I took on that name. And even though my parents found it challenging, you know, I just had to honor my path with that, and it's been really, really beneficial. So I can agree with that very much.